Today's class is a sort of a collaboration between some of the classes that we've been doing previously with CORE. And I titled today's class, Moving from the Core. So whether you're sitting or lying on your mat, you could be doing either, of course. And actually, I don't know what any of you are doing, so it doesn't matter. Do what serves you, right? But I want you to consider what it might mean to move from your core. We started weeks ago from the outer body moving in. So we started with the lateral sheath. We worked in the back body, the front body, and now we're kind of focusing at least more on the core body. So what might it mean to move from the core? I don't have any great answers today for you or any great wisdom. But what I think happens when we practice, when we come to the mat over and over and we practice, is that we begin to build a greater awareness of how we move our bodies, of when we need to call on strength, and when we need to allow relaxation or surrender. I think as we practice, we understand more how everything is connected and how having, say, a sore sacroiliac joint is not just about that one area. And if there's any point, I guess, to yoga, in my opinion, it's partly to understand the temple of our body and what it contains and how it contains all of us, and to have more ease in our bodies and in our lives. So today when we move, when we practice, we're just going to do a nice flow today. And you might focus on an area that you know is a difficult area for you physiologically. You might focus on an area that is challenging for you sort of in the social emotional or psychologically emotional area. Like, I get bored when we're not moving fast enough, or I tend to back off when something is challenging for me. It's a action or a posture I don't like. So we develop the inner body to support the outer body, right? If you think about taking an inhale and inhaling strength, and exhaling softness. Strength on the inside and softness on the outside. So I'll just share something very personal for me. I tend to guard myself very tightly, guard my emotions, have an appearance that I'm super strong and capable all the time. So I have a harder time being soft on the outside. So with other people and even with myself, I know I have a lot of inner strength, and I don't always allow myself to be vulnerable and to surrender to what is. So as we move today, my invitation to you is to slow down. Slow down for the purpose of noticing your movement and noticing especially your movement when things get difficult for you. And that difficulty can be on any level. And then how do you cultivate inner strength for outer softness? So I'm going to move over to my mat now. And if you're not on your mat already, you could do that as well. Come to your back on your mat. And come to a position of comfort. So the soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, and just allow your knees to rest together. And just let's take 4 to 6 rounds of breath to drop into your body, to get out of your mind and come into your body. The sensation, vibration, pulsation of your physical body. Deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Notice if you feel any desire to rush or hurry, and how this can really impact whether your practice on the mat or practice in life is less easeful. It impacts the ease that we have if we're always in a hurry. You might also notice if there's a tendency to just want to stay. And staying is might be appropriate for you today. You might just stay right here. But let's see if we can find a balance. So separate your knees now and feet shoulder distance or hip distance apart. Just allow your knees to move back and forth. Inhaling to bring the knees up to center and exhaling to drop your knees to the other side. And then allow your knees just to rest on one side. Reach the opposite arm up and away. Feel length through the side waist. And inhale back to center and let your knees drop the other direction. Reach the opposite arm up and away. And just start to develop or gain some. You could go back and forth with this, just holding for a breath on each side and feeling that that container we talked about at the beginning of the week, the big 50-gallon drum. Top lid diaphragm and bottom lid pelvic floor. And feel for some space in there. Some space, engagement, but also some fluidity as you move back and forth. Feel the connection between the pelvis moving and the shoulders moving. And then come back to center, and now just stretch your legs long, arms out. So you're making like a big X on the floor. And just begin to press through your feet, same arm. So pressing through the right heel and reaching the right arm away, and then going to the left side, or doing this on a diagonal. And again, can you feel like you're creating some space in that core? The definition of core we used with the big drum. And then bring your legs together and reach through both heels, and then reach your arms overhead and stretch like you're trying to pull yourself into two pieces, but you have this really responsive center. It just stretches without breaking. And then let your arms move down to your sides like you're doing a big snow angel. Bring the soles of your feet to the floor. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your arms behind you. Let the backs of your hands touch the floor. And then roll down one vertebra at a time, lengthening through your back body. Feel the spine lengthen as you come down one vertebra at a time, and then bring the arms down like you're making that snow angel. Press into your feet, inhale, lift again. Let the backs of your hands rest on the floor behind you, and let yourself roll down one vertebra at a time. Then sweep the arms back to your side. Do about 3 or 4 more of those. And with your arms at your side now, we'll press into the feet, lift, and just bring the right arm behind you. Turn your head to the left. Slide your arm back down, or back down to your side. Turn your head back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, press into your feet. Left arm comes up. Turn your gaze to the right. Roll down one vertebra at a time as you bring your arm back into position, head back to center. So one arm at a time, and the head turns in the opposite direction. Feel for a coordination here of your whole body. You pretty much got everything engaged here. So feel for a coordinated movement, ease, effort where you need it, but not over effort. Softness where you need it, but not too soft. Take one more on each side. And then grab one of your blocks. So feet, legs still in a position of comfort. Let's grab a block and take it between the upper inner thigh. Stack your knees over your hips. And then just squeeze the block. Bring your toes back towards your shins and press your feet into the imaginary wall. And just do enough to feel the engagement in your core, just enough. So not overly done, not overly efforting. And then bring hands behind your head. Interlace hands behind your head. And on your next exhale, just bring your elbows towards one another and raise your head and chest. And inhale, lower back down, open. Press your forearms into the floor. You might even arch the back slightly. And on your exhale, squeeze the block, bring your elbows together and lift your head and shoulders. And just enough effort to make the action happen of lifting your head and shoulders off the floor safely, but not over efforting. I mean, anywhere from 6 to 12 more here. Can you, even when I give you offer the numbers, can you find balance there? Are you always the person going for 12? Might it be more of a learning experience or a practice for you to go 6, or vice versa? And when you've done as many as you feel like works for you today, remove the block and stretch your legs long. Bring your awareness to the image that we had the other day of the psoas muscle, and see if you can allow that to just relax as you have your legs long. You might even take, some of you might even take the block underneath your sacrum. If that feels okay for your low back, and really allow for some stretching and opening here in front of the hips and through the psoas, the iliopsoas, both those muscles. And then bring the soles of your feet to the floor, especially if you have the block. Lift up, take the block out to the side, and now bend your knees and stack your knees over your hips again without the block. Press your right hand into the top of your thigh and reach your left leg long. Inhale back to center. Press the left hand into the top of your thigh and reach your right leg long. Inhale, both knees come back to center. As you go back and forth here, feel for the lower abdominals, the transverse abdominis coming on board, and a little engagement there. And see if you can move back and forth with ease, but applying enough effort so that you can hold this for one breath. So one breath cycle. And then on the next inhale, you bring the knees back to center and take the opposite leg long. Couple more, maybe one more on each side. And then we'll take our feet back to the floor. You might bring your knees in here for a variation of happy baby. Or you might pull the knees in together and make some circles with your knees. Just sort of listen right here for what you need. You might take your legs back long again. And from here, we're going to roll onto our side body. So we did this the other day standing. So you're just going to take whatever you need to do to balance. If you need the bottom leg to be a little bit bent, take the top leg and swing it forward and swing it back. And then rest it behind you. So you're feeling an opening in the front of the thigh and the psoas. Top leg is resting behind you. Slight engagement here to protect the low back. And then you'll come back to center, roll to the other side, and swing the top leg back and forth. And try to do this without moving the upper body too much. And then the next time the leg is in your back body, rest the leg behind you. So you could be resting on the inside of your foot, and you'll feel an opening. You should feel an opening here. And then roll back to center, back to your back. Take your legs wide once again, and just let your feet move back and forth. So one leg is going into internal rotation while the other goes into external rotation. And then slide your legs back together, bend your right knee, slide it out to the side, up to knee pointing to the ceiling, and slide your leg back out. Slide the right knee out to the side, bring your knee up towards the ceiling, and slide your leg back out. Just a few here, moving through your hip and knee. And then take the left and do the same thing. So slide the left knee out to the left, reach the knee up towards the ceiling, and slide the leg back out to straight. Just a couple on the left side. And you could do breath cycle half through. Inhale does half the movement, exhale the other half, or you could do a whole breath cycle. And we'll come back to center. You can roll to one side or cross your ankles and rock up. And we'll come up, take a block, and come into Virasana with the block between our ankles. Squeeze the ankles into the block. And here, I'll turn this way just in case anybody has sort of missed this. I've been doing this action for a couple of classes now. So feel for length between your sacrum and the crown of your head, and feel for lining the back of your head up with the back of your sacrum. And then inhale, press your palms away, open through the collarbones. Notice if when you do that, if you poke the low ribs out. So draw the low ribs in, so you're not overarching the low back. And then on your exhale, bring your arms out to T, thumbs up. Then press the palms up. Then inhale, reach the hands together. And exhale, draw your hands through heart center. Hands come down to the side, press your palms away. That's the inhale. Exhale, rotate the thumbs up towards the ceiling as you come into the T with your arms. Then palms towards the ceiling. Then inhale, reach up. And exhale, come through heart center. Just do a few rounds here, just getting the action of the arms. shoulders are working through all their range of motion right now, every uh, which way that they can move, right? All the ways they can move. So do you feel how much engagement you need in your center to have this be easeful? One more round. And then from here, let's take the left fingertips to the floor and inhale the right arm up and over. And take 2 rounds of breath here. And then on your next inhale, reach the right arm back up and over, letting right fingertips touch the floor. Inhale, left arm up, and exhale, reach over. Drop the right shoulder away from your ear. Let there be length in your side body and just the right amount of effort in your core, in your abdomen. On your next inhale, reach your left arm back up and set your hands back down. Then take the block out, set it to the side, come to all fours. Placing your knees underneath your hips and your hands under the shoulders or a little forward. You can just begin to move through your shoulders and your pelvis area, just circling in one direction. So bringing your hips back towards your heels and then your shoulders forward of your hands. And the opposite direction. And then coming into relative stillness here. And just feeling that the balance in your body. So back of the head lined up with the sacrum. So there's a slight arch in the back, just we call that neutral spine, right? And then on your next exhale, press and round and tuck your hips back towards your heels. Inhale, slide your nose close to the floor as you come up into cow. Exhale, turn your toes under, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent for the few early ones. Inhale, knees come back to the floor. You're into cow. Exhale, round and press back, child's pose. On the next inhale, draw your navel up and in as you come up onto your knees and reach your arms up. Exhale, gather at the core as you fold and bring your hands forward and come back to the child's pose. Inhale, slide your nose, bend your elbows, come through to cow. Exhale, turn your toes under, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop your knees to the floor, back to cow. Exhale, press and round through your back and drop your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands towards your knees and lift up onto your knees. Arms reach overhead. And exhale, fold, drawing your navel up and in, child's pose. Inhale, slide your nose along the mat, come back into cow. Exhale, round your back, press yourself back up, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, knees to the floor, come into cow. Exhale, press and round, and drop your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands towards your knees, come up on your knees, reach your arms overhead, spin your pinkies in. Maybe now you can take a look at your hands. And exhale, draw your navel up and in as you fold down to child's pose. Okay, that's the little vinyasa. Try a few just on your own. Inhale, cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, reach up from the floor all the way up, hands up. Okay, 2 more. We'll meet in the child's pose. Let's bring our arms alongside our bodies in full balasana. And see if you can allow your back body to just drape down, creating and allowing some space all through your back body. And on your next inhale, we're going to sweep up onto our knees, reach the arms overhead. Take your time, might be a little dizzy when you do that. And then exhale, hands to heart center. And then bring your right foot forward in proposal pose. Now inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale your left hand to your left hamstring, reaching over with the right hand, little side bend, back bend. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. And exhale, right hand to left hamstring. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, twist to make an open twist. So to the bent leg side. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, twist, a closed twist. So towards the front leg. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, take your hands down around your front foot. Draw that right hip back, the front leg, draw that hip back. And just a little hamstring opener. You might have a straight leg, you might have your leg rather bent. And then come forward. So you're stacked over your front foot. Turn your back toes under and press yourself up. Crescent lunge. Inhale, reach the hands towards the ceiling. Reach the back hamstring towards the ceiling, stacking your back heel over your toes. Inhale to stretch the ring finger towards the ceiling. And exhale, hands down around your front foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Lift your heels up and drop them to the right. Lift your heels up, come up on your toes, and drop your heels to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Inhale, rock forward to the high plank. Exhale, come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward again. Come through full chaturanga or drop your knees to the floor, keeping your, I don't like the elbows in super tight. Give yourself a little bit of width and come on down to your belly. Reach one leg back, the other leg back. Draw your arms alongside your body, and then press your palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale the head and the chest. Bending your elbows, bring your hands beside your low ribs, press yourself up to table and back to child's pose, slowly, slowly. Inhale, slide your hands back towards your heels, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And resting at your hip, and now bring your left foot forward on your right knee. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, right hand to right hamstring. So when you're reaching over, remember the other day we reached towards where the ceiling and the wall meet, so that'll open up the psoas. You get a little bit of a side bend here and a little bit of a back bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, left hand to right hamstring. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, twist and open. An opening twist, what we call an open twist. Inhale, reach both arms back up. Exhale, twist in the other direction, close twist. Back up. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Little bend in the knee, just a little hamstring opening here. One full breath in this position. And then bring your knee forward of your ankle, turn your back toes under, press yourself up, crescent lunge on this side. Lift your thigh towards the ceiling. Stack your heel over your toes, draw your low ribs in. Moving from the center. Reach the ring fingers towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hands down around the front foot, step back to the downward facing dog. Bending your knees deeply and hovering your knees over the mat. Stretch and reach the sit bones back, and then re-extend the legs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, forward to the high plank. Press the floor away. Feel engagement in your core. And then bring your right knee towards your right elbow. Hold for 3 full breaths. Observe. Inhale, bring the right foot back to meet the left. Exhale. Inhale, rock forward, left knee towards left elbow. 3 full breaths. So you're sort of in a half plank. It's not, we're not sort of a, yeah, sort of a half plank. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale. Inhale, come forward to plank. And exhale, you can lower your knees or keep your legs straight and lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Bring your arms alongside your body. Press your palms towards the ceiling. Feel enough engagement in your core that you feel some ease and fluidity. Draw your hands out to a T, arms to a T as you lift your head and shoulders. Thumbs pressing to or pointing towards the ceiling. And tops of the feet into the floor. And then bending your elbows, bring your hands beside your low ribs, press up to table. Take your time here and slowly bring your hips back to child's pose. Bring your arms alongside your body, full balasana. Take your heels now and reach your back towards the ceiling, pulling slightly on your heels. Little resistance as you reach your back body towards the ceiling. And then exhale yourself back down, hips to heels. Hands can be anywhere. You can leave them alongside your body here. On your next inhale, you'll press your shins into the floor and sweep yourself up onto your knees, reaching your hands above your head. Take your time. Exhale, hands come through heart center and release down to your sides. From here, we'll bring one foot forward, doesn't matter, and then step yourself up. Come to the top of your mat in Tadasana. Inhale, reach your hands up. And exhale, fold through center. Now, if you have your block handy, great. If you don't, you might want to grab it. Lengthen now in a halfway lift. So reaching the crown of your head away from your hips, but having that a nice flat back if possible. So it might mean a couple blocks. It might mean you're on your shins. It might mean you're on your thighs. And then exhale, fold. Let's press into the feet and inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands through heart center and to the hips. And then we'll open up to the long edge of the mat. And have your block, one block handy here. Good, and we're gonna turn the right foot out and take the block to the inside of that foot. Pick up the back foot and turn the heel out. And then just move through a little flexion and extension in the front knee. Good, and then we'll bring the right hand to the block that's on the inside of your ankle, right ankle, left hand to your hip. We're going to take the left hand and make a big circle in front of the body. And then reach that up, that arm up. And then taking your palm and facing the floor, reach over in your side angle. Bring your top hand to your hip and straighten the front leg. Now, pressing into your feet and gathering your legs together so that you can take your hand off the block. Move the block to the outside of your lower leg. Bring your right hand back to the block, and now imagine that you are, with your hand, you are tightening a jar lid. So righty-tighty, right? So you're tightening the jar lid, and feel the movement of your shoulder blade. So nice and open here. Now you could stack the top arm over the bottom arm in this triangle posture. Good. Relax your neck. We're going to move from this posture into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So you have your block. You're going to take one or two steps to come forward. So if you bend through the front leg, you can bring your hand back to your hip, top hand. You bend through the front leg and maybe even use the block to help you hike yourself forward one step. Bring your block in front of your right foot and out about an inch or so. And then as you straighten the front leg, lift the back leg. And you can have your hand on your hip. Now, how much engagement do you need here? You could bend the top leg and reach for your foot with your top hand, or touch the heel to the hand. And then bending the standing leg, bring your back leg to a short stance. Turn your head, turn your shoulders, turn your hips. Bring your hands to the floor, to your block. In a fold, knees bent, and halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step yourself back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward into the high plank. Exhale, lower to the floor. Inhale, draw your arms alongside your body. Forehead can rest on the floor. Lift your palms away from the floor. And then inhale as you bring your head and shoulders up. Reach your arms out, thumbs towards the ceiling. And then bring your arms in front in a big Y. If that feels okay. If not, just keep to that first version. And then bending your elbows, bring your elbows alongside your low ribs, press yourself up. Slowly come back to child's pose. Inhale, coming up to cow. Exhale, turning your toes under, stepping your hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And drop your hips back and sweep your arms forward into Utkatasana. Exhale, drop the hips way back, reach the arms forward, power chair. Inhale, come back to, or the 45-degree angle here. And then slowly with hands to your hips, press yourself straight up to standing. Take your time. And then we'll open up to the long edge of the mat once again, block on the opposite end. So turn the left foot out. And take the block to the inside of your left foot. Pick up your right heel, turn it out. And then just open through your knee here. So bending and extending. So a little vinyasa in the knee. Should be on the opposite side, everybody. And then you're going to make a decision about where the block needs to be for you. For me, it's on the top setting. And as I press into my hand, I want to take my top hand on my hip, and then I'm going to just do some big opening, some circles with that, working in my shoulder. And then from here, you can bring that arm back to your hip. You could also take it behind you and press your palm away. So getting the right action in the shoulder. Then the thumb up towards the ceiling. Then the palm up towards the ceiling as you reach up and over. And your side angle, this side. Take a couple of breaths. Bring your top hand back to your hip. And as you straighten your front leg, can you feel the strength of the legs? You're kind of pulling the legs together here enough that you can just pick up the block and move it to the outside. And I like the outside of the lower leg versus the outside of the ankle. And if you're ready, if you're not ready, you could vinyasa a little bit. Just slide your hand up and down your leg. And now with your left hand on the block to the outside of your lower leg, take the jar lid off. So lefty-loosey. Relax your neck. Feel how when you get that action, so your hand is stuck on the block, but you're trying to do that action of taking a jar lid off. And feel how that slides the shoulder blade sort of down and in towards your spine. Reach the top arm up if you like. Notice if you feel in a hurry. Any of these actions in your body are not easeful for you. Where might you need to bring some inner strength for outer softness, for ease? We'll move from triangle to Ardha Chandrasana on this side. And so again, whatever you need to do, if you need the top hand to come down to the hip first and maybe bending through the front leg, you take one step and then you lift up the block, bring it forward. I like really starting with this front leg bent, because as I extend through the front leg, I lift. Opposite action is lifting the back leg. Then I can organize a little bit more, bringing my hips one over the other. Then whatever feels like a nice expression for you, you could stack the shoulders, bend the top leg if that would be fun and helpful for you. Reaching the top leg with the top hand. Mm-hmm. And to come out, we bend through the front knee, bring the back foot to the floor, and then we can slowly turn gaze, turn shoulders, turn hips, bring both hands down around the front of the body, organize your feet. Inhale, if you've got your block right there, which you probably do, inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale to a fold. Bending your knees and dropping your hips. Inhale, come into chair. Exhale, booty way back and arms forward. Power chair. We're going to press out of power chair into standing. Take your time. You might get a little dizzy when you do that. Take your time, take your time, take your time. And allow your hands to come to heart center. And rest beside you in Tadasana. Feel the heat you've created in your body and let that spread all throughout your body. So that's kind of that inner strength, right? Is that fire. And that's because that is the energy center, the core, the Manipura, the sacral chakra, the belly chakra, right? Let that fire move throughout your body. So inner fire, outer softness, or outer shine, I guess. It's like how I think about it sometimes, an outer shine. And then you could do a vinyasa to come to the floor, or you could come into a squat, or you could just find your way down to your mat. And take a hip balance if that feels like it's calling you, or just organize yourself into Shavasana. Anything else you need before you settle back to the floor. Give yourself now permission to soften and let the earth support you in Shavasana. Maybe a nice wide stance with the legs, with the feet falling out and arms wide. Maybe today you want your hands to your belly. You want to really connect your hands to that anatomical core we've been talking about, or your energetic core. This center, this middle. Allow it to support you. So what is your inner strength? What gives you inner strength? What is that? We all probably develop this in different ways, but can you honor the inner strength that you have and how it allows you to move through the world with ease? The right amount of ease and the right amount of effort. Can you have gratitude for the inner strength that you possess, how that's developed in your life? Notice if you feel in a hurry right now. Can you be with this just last minute or two of letting go, of relaxing into support, allowing things to integrate in your body? And bringing your hands to your heart center in a gesture of prayer that works for you. And give yourself an internal namaste. So that word means, I honor the light in you. I honor the inner strength. I honor the balance that I have developed in my life with effort and ease. Honor that in yourself. And gratitude for anyone else who makes coming to practice possible for you. Staying as you like in Shavasana or moving to your seat. Whatever you believe about Christmas or Boxing Day or the holidays in general, it is a time of gifting. And my wish is that all people, all beings would know peace and ease and have joy and brightness in their lives. Thank you for being here today. Namaste.